Dragging heavy bags to the airport, we managed to survive our red-eye flight to London. We were about to embark on a 13-day Scandinavian cruise for my mother-in-law's birthday, a trip she had been looking forward to for months, and one I was only just ever so slightly less enthusiastic about. I had only ever been on one cruise before, and I hadn't exactly enjoyed it then. But instead of my parents planning that cruise, this time I had planned everything. And because I had taken on this role as troop leader, I started to become frustrated when everything started to go wrong. The jet lag hit me super hard. I experienced days of migraines, and my big freelance project had a rapidly approaching due date, and we were about to be at sea without internet. And when we finally arrived on the cruise, it turned out they were basically the same as I had remembered. Confining might be a good word for it. We were gonna be stuck at sea for 4 full days. What was I gonna do? I went with a tried and true solution. I channeled my frustration into worrying. I worried about not doing enough research before we embarked at each port. I worried about disappointing friends who took time to give us recommendations. I worried about finishing work, and then I worried about wasting precious trip time. I worried about my husband getting bored or my in-laws not having a good time. And most of all, I worried about not having enough money to really experience everything properly. It felt like nothing went to plan. We were stuck on the ship for days, and when we finally got off, we seemed to have the worst timing. We tried to go to the climbing gym, but everything's closed because it's a national holiday. After 5 days of stuff like this, my partner and I were eating at the buffet, and he said, "I think we just have to stop complaining and just accept that we are on this cruise." I reluctantly agreed, and from then on, we decided to lean into the whole experience. We decided that while the stops were short, we were just going to be open to doing what we could with the time we had. So we admired old buildings, we savored each pastry, and we fully relaxed in each beautiful city park when our feet were hurting. And we finally rented bikes, because that is clearly the preferred method of travel in Scandinavian countries. And we tried this new approach back on the ship as well. We went to a salsa class, we went to the gym basically every day. We chatted with the staff and people in the hot tub and any random retiree that just happened to be sitting near us at dinner. And as we did all these things, I slowly figured out that having my own personal brat summer was not working. I know it feels like a cop-out to blame everything on social media warping our sense of reality, but since I've got back, I've had so many friends tell us that our trips look amazing based on what they saw online. While they weren't exactly wrong, what they saw lacked all nuance. So I'm trying to make a tiny dent in that wave of overwhelming perfection that hits everyone daily. Our trip was far from perfect, but it ended up being impactful, changing my perspective on what vacation is supposed to be. In order to have a good time, I needed to lean into what was in front of me instead of comparing it to what I had expected in my head. So forget about just having a perfect trip. Forget about what travel is supposed to be and let it just be life. And when we finally managed to do that, we actually managed to have a good time.